What the Mets did last year kind of pissed me off because knowing Buck Showalter the way I did, he was the manager of the year before, 101 wins. The team never caught their feet. They were pacing themselves for the stretch run kind of thing. We saw that in April and May. There was already load management, and we don't have to start out with pushing Verlander too soon. We never had the 5 starters together. And then you wind up saying to the team, June was absolutely horrific. July, they started off with a 6-game winning streak. And that day, they said, if this team is in position to make a move to help them to make a run, we'll do it. Were they not 6 games out with 2 months left to play? And You're telling me that if you kept the band together, they could have made a run more so than what they did? Arizona finished with 84 wins. You don't think they could have got to 84 wins with that team intact? I believe so. Tommy Pham was playing at a very high level. He was actually the only protection that Pete Alonso had. The biggest thing for me was 2 things. They pulled the plug too soon when they got rid of Robertson to a division rival for a 17-year-old outfielder in the Dominican. And then top that with, they went ahead and they convinced both of their Hall of Fame pitchers, we're not going to compete next year. It's better for you guys to go somewhere else. And then pay for them to be somewhere else. Yes, you got back prospects, but the number 1 prospect, so the number 1 draft pick in all of baseball gets about $10, $12 million. You're paying $54 million for Verlander to pitch for them. And you couldn't get back anything more than that than just 2 outfield prospects and a first base kind of prospect. You need to get back at least their top pitcher as well. Somebody that was going to be able to help the organization right away because you're replacing an ace of the staff for the next 2 years. That's 3 postseasons he's going to have the chance to help the Astros with. What we're looking for is the other way around now. Flip the script. You're looking to go in and see what this team can do. The Diamondbacks did not leave spring training saying, oh, we're going to the World Series. Nobody had that on their bingo card. Nobody really had the Texas Rangers as being one of the elite teams in baseball. We talk about the Mets rotation, say, this year. Who were the 5 starters to start out with Texas Rangers? We went and got DeGrom, who you knew was going to get hurt. Evaldi could get hurt at any moment. High intensity, high motors. They perform really well when they're out there, but they're all often injured. So that's 2 of your major starters. Jordan Montgomery, nope, they traded to get him. Max Scherzer, they traded to get him. So you can make those moves at that time. Texas Rangers lost how many games last year? 96 games. And there's nobody that can say they figured it out. It took them 5 years of being under 500 and twice being the last place team in their division before they figured it out. Bruce Bochy became the manager. Their analytical team was always in the forefront. One of Major League Baseball's biggest analytical teams. And it finally caught up where they had the success mixed with the analytics, mixed with a great manager who knew how to manage people. And what did the Mets do on the other side? They yanked the plug out from under a manager who still had a year left, that if you're going to get all these prospects and you're going to get all these other pieces and you're going to be able to reload quickly, wouldn't a proven manager be the guy you want to be at the helm for at least 1 more year in a transitional phase? So that to me is where I think things are going to be different. There's no way to determine who Carlos Mendoza is as a manager. So we have to see how he's able to do in the clubhouse, how he's able to do with the media. Those are the 2 big key points because we know that the lineups are already going to be printed out for him. We know in-game management is already printed out for him. You're not going to trust a guy who's never managed to manage a team. We've seen that already with Luis Rojas and with Mickey Callaway. How'd that turn out?
Not very good. It never works out for the Mets when they bring in these managers that have no idea what they're doing. He is a Yankee guy, and I trust that a lot of these Yankee guys, they go other places and they're successful. Ask the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm not talking about Girardi. There's a lot of good players still available right now. Blake Snell, he is the big name right now. Blake has been sensational last year in the National League. He won the National League Cy Young. He's one of very few pitchers in history to win a National League and American League Cy Young, which says a lot about him when he's healthy. And now the only team that's really made him an offer, which I know he wants $270 million, which makes no sense. He's not going to get it because he can't stay healthy. Right. But nevertheless, the only team that's given him an offer is the New York Yankees. What is the Mets' plan on this? I think he's the perfect fit for the Mets.
Do you really count that as an offer with the Yankees?
No, I don't. Really? I think it's funny.
Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, when you look at the Yankees sign Rodon, more money for less of a pitcher or less of a track record, a guy with 2 Cy Youngs, and you're like, hey, how about taking $25 million a year? That's absolutely comical. Do I think he's going to get the long-term contract that way? No. He's going to have to go a new route, which is why those guys were getting $45 million a year for, we're talking Hall of Fame caliber pitchers, and Trevor Bauer. Over $40 million a year, it was always a 1 year and an opt-out. So you went high money for 1 year to see what you get out of them. I still don't understand the metrics or the math on it because you can't tell me that a starting pitcher brings you more value than a starting first baseman, Pete Alonso, who plays 150 plus games. And you're going to say, oh, well, we can't pay him $25 million a year or $30 million even a year, but we can give a starting pitcher $45 million. It doesn't make sense. The math doesn't math to me. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you and they're sitting in offices that haven't been decorated yet.